Did you know that Goodwill Industries of Southwest Florida provides more than 250 units of housing for those in need? We didn't either, but we learned all about it from the organization's Vice President of Communication and Development, Carolyn Johnson, here on the Royal Palmcast.
You're listening to the Royal Palmcast, the show about all things real estate. From the production studios of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in Fort Myers, Florida, here's your host, Jim Sandville.
Welcome to the Royal Palmcast. I'm your host, Jim Sandville, coming to you from the studios of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in beautiful, sunny Fort Myers, Florida. I'm here today with Jerry Johnson, our board op and director of communications and marketing. Jerry, how are you?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing just fine. How about you today?
I'm doing great. I'm very, very happy to be here. How about you? Are you happy to be here today?
Happy as a clam.
You are one of the most happy people I know.
Can't you tell by my voice? I'm so happy.
Every week, you are happy to be here.
A beacon of light.
Just like I am. And one of the reasons I am happy here today is because we are going to talk with someone who has a really interesting story to tell, a story that's not well understood, I think, in the community. Her name is Carolyn Johnson. Carolyn, welcome.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Carolyn is the Vice President of Communications and Development at Goodwill Industries of Southwest Florida, Inc.
That is correct.
Right here in, you're headquartered in Fort Myers, correct?
Yes.
Good.
Specifically in East Fort Myers,
I knew you were right in the neighborhood somewhere.
Yes.
All right.
Opportunity Center.
Now, one of the things we want to talk to Carolyn about today is the Goodwill organization's efforts toward affordable housing and housing assistance, that kind of thing. But one thing, and we had a previous show with Carolyn, which I'm sure you've heard, where we didn't touch on, and I'd be curious to know, Carolyn, how did COVID affect you?
Oh, wow. COVID, as you can imagine, it was tough. But I have been with Goodwill a number of years, 23 years. And this was the first time that all of our stores at the same time were closed. So we have 25 stores in the 5-county area. And of course, when the governor did the stay-at-home order, and then of course, even before then, we had to systematically start closing down some stores because we weren't getting foot traffic. If you're not getting foot traffic, therefore nobody is shopping in your stores, then it's not really cost-effective to keep them open, and you actually really start to lose money. And our stores are our main revenue source for our programs and services. So it was quite a panic to think about, what that meant.
Sure.
And so we closed for about 6 weeks, which having all of our stores closed at the same time for 6 weeks, it was a loss of about $2 million in revenue.
$2 million in revenue.
$2 million that was not going back into the community to help people with disabilities and disadvantages.
Ouch.
So so we're still trying to climb out of that box.
Was the organization able to take advantage of any federal program, PPP money?
Not as much as you would think, because we didn't fit in any of the criteria. We're too large. We have 800 employees, and I think the criteria is you had to have 500 or less. So just the sheer size of our organization kind of exempted us from a lot of that federal. But it has been coming in. We are working closely through our CRCs with the CARES programs that are out, the CARES program through Collier, the Lee CARES, and we're helping to help people fill out the paperwork for that and get in touch with those monies directly. What we did keep open during COVID, which a lot of people didn't realize, was our community resource centers, because we were able to do it virtually. We were able to help people fill out unemployment forms. There were a lot of people who have never, ever had to do that before. And, if you've ever been in that situation and had to fill out those unemployment forms, especially online, it can be quite daunting. And then especially if English is not your first language, or, or you have some other type of barrier, it really was quite terrifying for a lot of people. So luckily we did have our community resource centers open to be able to assist people. We were helping about 1,000 people a week.
Now tell me again, just briefly, what the resource centers are all about.
Well, basically it's where all our mission happens. A lot of our mission happens there. So we're going to have computers there. We have employment consultants there to help you. Maybe you're trying to get a job. Maybe you need some upskilling. You need to learn a new skill. Maybe you need a fresh start. So we're going to evaluate you. We're going to find out what your barrier is. And if we can't help you, we have partners that we work with in the community. Certainly United Way is a huge partner of ours, and we work very closely with them. We're going to help you get the help that you need through whatever services you need. We deal with food stamps, access. We do VITA for tax preparation, resume preparation, you name it. So
that is
and it's all free.
That is something I was completely unaware of.
That is the main thing that we do.
Now, how long have you operated these resource centers? You rebranded them recently, right?
We did rebrand them. A lot of people may know them as our job link centers. We decided to call them community resource centers because it's really not everybody who comes in there is really looking for a job, but maybe they're looking to enhance their skills, or maybe they just need the basics. They need to know where to get food. They need to know how to keep the lights on. Maybe they need something else. So we decided to make the title a little broader in the community resource centers. And we've been doing this since, well, our organization is 53 years old. So we've been doing this in some form for 53 years.
53 years.
In Southwest Florida, yes.
Now, Goodwill, the larger concept of it, is operated elsewhere for longer than 53 years, right?
Well, Goodwill proper, like all of Goodwill,
right.
We're about 110 years old.
110.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I always remember Goodwill from the first thing I remember. So it's always been there in my lifetime anyway.
Yes.
So you do something else, Carolyn, called a micro enterprise program. Do I get the name right?
Yeah, you did. And that is a really, really neat program. Again, it is just another way that we're helping people to become independent. So, if you're someone who, maybe you don't want to work for someone, and you really have this dream of owning your own business, but you're low to middle income, and you don't really see how that's possible, we're going to help you for a very, very small fee comparatively. If you go somewhere else, we're going to put you in a 6-week program. At the end of that program, you're going to come up with have a feasibility plan, and that feasibility plan, you should be able to know, okay, this is a successful business that I can actually, start to go ahead and plan and go forth, or we're going to tell you, no, this isn't going to work. And that is just as important as saying, giving you the green light, right? Because if you don't have somebody to tell you and evaluate, is this going to work or not, you can end up sinking your life savings into something that would not work at all. So, we've had those types of stories where, through the process, somebody has thanked us and said, thank you, pointing out the pitfalls, and I'm glad I didn't go down that road. Now, of course, we've had tremendous success with people owning their own businesses. Wild About Popcorn is one of them.
Really?
2 locations, one on the Cape, one downtown Fort Myers. They are micro enterprise. Zerilli's on the Cape is another one. And just, tons of new business owners.
Now, you mentioned to qualify for that program, it would be low to middle income. What is the income limit?
Well, I don't know the exact. You'd have to call the director of that, but there is a process that you go through, a form that you fill out, and, they kind of make sure that you fit the criteria, and I can say that it's pretty loose as long as, you're willing to do the program, they're willing you come in, we're going to put you in the program.
All right.
So
It'd probably be especially helpful now during the time when people are losing positions, or if maybe they become unemployed for the first time in a long time.
yeah, absolutely. And really the way to look at it, it's just another tool in the toolbox. So if you've been somehow, not able to find employment, or it's just, it's not working out for you, and maybe there's some dream that you always wanted to do, come on and come through our microenterprise program and see if it's something that you can do on your own.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I have many more questions, and especially questions about your efforts around housing in Lee County. But we do need to take a quick break, Carolyn, so we are going to come right back and talk about that after this brief message.
Okay.
I'm Bill Steinke, and you're listening to the Royal Palmcast.
Hi, I'm Angela Foster, and you're listening to the Royal Palmcast.
Hi, I'm Bill Risser, and you're listening to the Royal Palmcast.
Have you ever wanted to write for a professional production or be on camera, reporting on real estate-related topics? Are you a member in good standing with the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association? Well, here's your chance to shine. We're looking for new talent who think they have what it takes to participate in video segments or other media production for the association, upcoming events, classes, special projects, and podcasts. We need members who can provide subject matter, script writing, appear in videos, and more. We rely on professional level commitment, and we're big on deadlines. We need volunteers who can consistently meet or beat deadlines on any project to which they commit to keep our program schedule on track. Although this is purely voluntary, it's a wonderful opportunity to get your name out there and perhaps even build your business. If you can provide topical and engaging story ideas that would be of interest and value to our members, if you're able to submit written scripts regularly and on time, if you're an RPCRA member in good standing who's interested and think you have what it takes, we want to hear from you. Follow us on the RPCRA Facebook page and read your Member Weekly newsletter for a link to the application and information forms. Once we receive your completed forms, we'll follow up with you. We'd love to see or hear samples of your work on camera, on microphone, or in print. So please be sure to include samples or links when you apply. We may invite you to attend an on-camera audition session in our Fort Myers studio. For additional information, email shows@rpcra.org. Thank you and good luck. We hope you're enjoying the Royal Palmcast, a production of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association, your association for realtor resources, services, and education in Southwest Florida. We're committed to the success of all our members and advocate for property rights, both commercial and residential. We continue our efforts educating and influencing policymakers at all levels about issues important to realtors and homeowners. RPCRA also leads the way with community involvement, market analysis, and member engagement, all of which contribute to a superior realtor experience. With 2 convenient locations in Fort Myers and Cape Coral, the staff of RPCRA is here for you. You'll find us online at rpcra.org and across social media, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, SoundCloud, and all major podcast apps. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and follow us to stay current on all our upcoming classes and events. Now, back to Jim Sandville and the Royal Palmcast.
Welcome back to the Royal Palmcast. I'm your host, Jim Sandville, with Jerry Johnson here in the studio at the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in Fort Myers, Florida. We're talking today with one of our favorite people who we've met in just recent days. Her name is Carolyn Johnson, and I feel like I've known you for a long time,
Wow.
especially after hearing your questions answered in the lightning round.
I know, that was a
last
shocker,
episode.
wasn't it? It was a shocker. I'm sorry if it was a little bit much.
Good stuff. The bologna sandwich threw
Just,
me for a
you know,
little bit of a loop. But
You just can't unhear any of that, can you? I know. I'm sorry. I warned you.
No, it's all good. It's all good, Carolyn.
Okay.
I really feel like I've learned a lot about Goodwill Industries in the last show and this show as well. But I've got a feeling there's even more to the story of Goodwill. What other things does Goodwill do that people aren't generally aware of?
You know what? I'm really glad you asked that, Jim, because probably one of our biggest secrets, and it's really not intentional, but we've had a program since 1997 that people don't realize that we do. And we have housing. We have housing for people with physical disabilities, and we have housing for low-income seniors. And we've had that since 1997.
Housing that you own?
Yeah.
That you own?
We own, we manage.
Huh.
We have been doing this, like I said, since 1997. And, if you're going to ask, well, what does this have to do with your mission that you've talked about before? Well, as you know, as many people know, housing is one of the critical areas where, people can become not self-sufficient. So how can you help somebody get a job or help somebody move forward if they don't have a roof over their head? And so we got into that area, realizing that there was a gap that needed to be filled in our community, specifically for people with physical disabilities. So, we take for granted, we wake up, we make our breakfast, we get dressed, we're at the stove. But you know what? It's easy for us, right? On a given day, would you agree? It's fine.
Sure.
But, if you if you have a physical disability, now you're kind of looking at things, a little differently. So you're in a wheelchair and, all of a sudden that counter that you would typically go to wash your dishes or get whatever, well, it's at a height that you can't reach. Or you try to go take a shower and, there's that lip, to get into the shower or the tub. Well, you can't do it as easily. So, a lot of people with physical disabilities, they're either living with a family member or they're just stuck in a place where they're having to make accommodations where they don't need to. So our housing that we have, it's made for people who have physical disabilities, roll-in showers. We have lowered counters. We have lowered sinks. We have large hallways and closet areas and doorways so people can roll in and roll out easily. So it's completely accessible for people with physical disability. And this is important because, just because you have a physical disability doesn't mean that you don't have the desire to be independent. So, who wants to live with, their son or their daughter or their in-laws for the rest of their life or, whatever? You want to be independent. So this has given a lot of people that are in our housing the opportunity to live in a safe, affordable, and accessible housing of their own, and they can live independently. And let me tell you, it means the world to them.
Sure it does. I had no idea that you did that kind of thing.
I know.
How many units are there available?
So we have 16 apartment complexes. 15 of them are for people with physical disabilities, and then we have a 54-unit apartment complex called Hatton B. Rogers for low-income seniors. The reason why a lot of people don't know about it is because we have a 3-year waiting list.
Wow.
That is how great the need is in our community. Any kind of affordable and attainable housing, as I'm sure you all are aware, it's just there's a huge need, and there's a lack of resources. So, at Goodwill, we're doing our part to help fill that gap. We don't talk about it as much, but we do have a rolling waiting list, and as soon as something comes open, we're filling it with our waiting list. But it's important. I'm talking about it today because people need to understand that the need is great. We had help in the beginning. We were building these apartment complexes, every year from 1997 with the help of HUD partnership. Well, funding has sort of dried up. So it's become harder and harder for us to do it on our own. But I am looking for opportunities. I'm looking for opportunities to see if we can, what else can we do? A partner out there in the community that recognizes that, the funding sources need to come from both private and both government, whatever, we can raise funds, but something needs to happen. And it's something that we would like to see continue, obviously, and add to our 16 units that we have, because there is such a great need.
Gotcha. We actually have a lot in common then, Goodwill and the Realtor Association here. We have a housing foundation, which you may be aware of.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we focus on the community need for affordable housing, partnering with Habitat for Humanity.
Wonderful.
And we actually do a monthly free class for prospective homeowners who may be first-time buyers and not familiar with the process of what it takes to buy a home, credit,
No, that's great.
financing, all that stuff.
It's very important.
We actually do it in our education center until COVID hit, of course, and it affected us like everyone else. So we've had to postpone further classes until a time that we don't know, but hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. So now I want to make sure I clear up a question I had. I heard you say 16 units.
We do have 16 units. 15 of them are for people with physical disabilities.
I heard you say 54 units.
And then 54 units is our apartment complex. It's a 3-story apartment complex for low-income seniors.
So when you say 16 units, you mean buildings
So
with
apartment
multiple?
complexes, and each apartment complex, okay, it ranges from 10 apartments to, we have one that is, I think, 12 units.
So
Yeah.
if a unit is one apartment, how many total units?
Most of so in one apartment complex, we've had as much as 10 apartments, okay, in an apartment complex.
Okay.
And then we have up to, I think, 12 or I think 15.
Okay, so you're saying there's 54 total units.
There's 54 in our low-income seniors, okay, and those are single one-bedroom apartments. So there's 54 apartments in our low-income apartment complex.
All right, so
And then we've got other units, right, 15 of them, and some are 10 apartments in a unit, and some are up to like 12 or 14.
So Goodwill Industries is doing a lot to address the need, but as you point out, it's still not enough. The
Still not
demand
enough.
is greater and maybe increasing right now. I don't know, but hopefully not.
Well, I mean, it is increasing, and, I'm always keeping an eye out for partners or things that come down. Every once in a while, there'll be an RFP from the government, saying that, we have X amount of dollars. But the thing about those is that they have so many requirements around that. So maybe it has to be in Collier County, or maybe it has to be over in a certain area, or you have to have the turnaround right away. So a lot of times when the RFP comes down, it's not able to like move quickly. But so I'm always keeping my eyes and ears open for the next opportunity or partner, so that we can move the initiative forward, because there is such a need.
Gotcha. Carolyn, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. How can folks get in touch with you and learn more about the organization?
Well, it's very easy. Anybody can call me anytime, 239-995-2106. I'm at extension 2247, or you can simply go to our website, www.goodwillswfl.org. If you are interested in the housing and you would like to get on our housing wait list, please call 239-995-6100.
6100.
Yes.
Got it. And people can help the organization by shopping and donating.
Yes.
All those things.
Absolutely. Donating and shopping, that's at the core, of course, because that is what funds all of our programs and services that I've talked to you about, including our housing. You can also, give us cash. We love cash. We love checks. We love, whatever. If you want to talk to us about a planned gift, we are available, because we know that some people have things that are very close to their heart. Maybe it's housing. Maybe you have a loved one with a developmental disability and you want to help further along a program that we have. We'd love to sit down and talk to you about your philanthropic goals in those terms. So there's many, many ways to support us, and we do appreciate everybody in our community donating and shopping and knowing a little bit more about our mission. And please remember to round up when you shop.
Yeah, I think once people really have a true appreciation of the need and what you're doing to meet that need in the community, they will be moved to do all that they can to help. And as part of the estate planning process, Goodwill would be happy, I'm sure, to be a beneficiary of whatever largesse you may provide.
Absolutely. And, it certainly can't hurt. And we'd love to talk to you if you're thinking along those lines. And as you can see, we have a wide array of services. So certainly something that might connect with, somebody's thought process of what they'd like to do to leave a legacy. We'd like to talk to you about it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Carolyn, thanks again. And I also want to thank Jerry Johnson.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, Jerry, thank you for doing a great job and
thank you, Jerry.
running the board.
I do appreciate
all
it.
that stuff.
Thank you.
Okay.
And being our Director of Communications and Marketing. I also want to thank Beata Jones, our CEO, for all of her support of the Royal Palmcast. If you have a question, a comment, or an idea you'd like to forward to this show, you can send it to shows@rpcra.org. We'd be more than happy to hear from you. I want to invite you to listen to our sister podcast, Realtor Riff Rap, with host Nick B. Jealous, and watch our YouTube video news show about real estate called Realtor's Corner. You can catch that, as I say, anytime on YouTube. I'm Jim Sanville, your host of the Royal Palmcast, and we'll look forward to talking with you again next time.
Thanks for listening to the Royal Palmcast. Be sure to listen again each week, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app or YouTube. And be sure to check out our sister podcast, Realtor Riff Rap, and our video news show, Realtor's Corner, which can be found on the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association Facebook page and YouTube channel. For information about sponsorship opportunities for this and other RPCRA productions, email us at shows@rpcra.org. This has been a production of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association.